Well, hello, my friends. Thank you for tuning in today to watch the show. It's another good one for you. I'm really excited to bring our guest to you. And before we get to that, I just want to remind you, if you could be so kind as to hit that subscription button, follow along with us, share with your friends, let everybody know about this show that you love so much. That would be great. Thank you. So we have another great interview coming up for you. I want to kind of give a little pre-conversation first about the topic. I'm going to be talking with Mary Bawden. She's the founder of an organization called DANCE, DANCE, and they are fighting against hypersexualization of children in dance. And you've all by now, I would imagine, have heard about the blockbuster movie out now, Sound of Freedom. Highly recommend that you go see it. And it is, I think it's number one right now at the time of recording this. And that is with still having a pretty much full mainstream media blackout. They won't even talk about this movie being out. So that tells you everything you want to know, doesn't it? But this is such a timely conversation because there are so many things going on in our world for a while now, but maybe more so than ever, maybe just that it's coming to light now of our children being exploited in every possible way. And this is no different. Dance is no different. And I don't know if this prizes you or not. I guess if you don't have children, daughters in particular, it could be sons too, but obviously it's primarily girls when it comes to dance, at least. And unless you have daughters in dance, you probably are unaware of the dynamics and what goes on with that. But yes, so my children, I have two daughters, two grown daughters. A lot of you maybe know that already. I have two grown daughters. Now I'm a grandma. I have two grandbabies, granddaughters. And my girls both did dance growing up. And I don't remember it being the way it is now. It just wasn't. I do remember I didn't love the excessive makeup that you put on the kids, but I did understand that, they're going on stage, the lights, all of those things, you can kind of justify that. The kids didn't wear skimpy, revealing costumes like they do now. And this is not saying all dance schools. This isn't, a blanket statement. It's a general statement, but it's not a blanket statement. It's not all, but very many, I think is fair to say, of them have gone this route where these children, these young girls, and we're talking about ages 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, are doing these very provocative, sexualized dances, movements, and it's horrific. And I know this firsthand. I was talking with a girlfriend of mine whose granddaughter is in dance. I believe she's like 10. They had gone to see her recital recently. I think they do the recitals like in May. And they had gone to see her recital. And the father, who, obviously mom must have been the one bringing the kids to dance and everything. So the father was kind of oblivious, I guess, as to what to expect and what the dances were. And watching, and I don't think it was necessarily his daughter's specific dance. I think it was just overall watching the whole competition or show. He was a little stunned, to say the least. And he actually leaned over. This is being relayed to me, that he leaned over and said, "I'm waiting for them to bring out a stripper pole. What is going on here?" So it was that bad. It was that bad and inappropriate and wrong. And, so this is a thing that goes on throughout dance, maybe even cheerleading. I'm not really sure. Definitely dance in other types of things. And, the issue here is hypersexualization of children. Children should not be sexualized, period. I mean, this is a given. I can't even believe. Can you believe that we have to make statements like that? That's what really horrifies me, that we actually have to say something that should be so obvious. It's infuriating, it's disgusting, it's appalling, and we simply have to do something about it, right? The time for sitting back and just saying, "Oh, that's terrible," and then going back to drinking your coffee or scrolling social media, it is done. It's done. We can't just sit idly by, and at the very least, we have to expose it. And that's what movies like Sound of Freedom is doing, shining a very bright light into extremely dark, dark places and exposing the types of things that are happening, the grooming behaviors. And I'm so privileged and honored to have had guests on my show recently who are advocates in this lane. I just spoke with Elizabeth Good. That was, I believe, the interview before this one. You can go back and watch that one. And she is an advocate, a speaker, an author who is very vocally advocating for people who are vulnerable. And this is no different. I'm honored to bring to you this wonderful guest, Mary Bawden, and she, along with her assistant, they're going to be talking about how to recognize these types of things. And if your children are in dance, or your grandchildren, or your nieces or nephews even are in dance, this is how to identify some of these behaviors or anything that's going on with that may be a red flag. And they also help dance schools not do that, basically. So if they need some help and guidance in how to protect children from exploitive or sexualization or hypersexualization, they offer resources and training and tools and tips, and they do so much. And it's an incredible organization. It's almost like, I almost want to say it's like a niche organization. This is a lane that most of us probably wouldn't even think about. You maybe will watch a dance competition and go, oh, okay, but not really give it a heck of a lot of thought. But when you learn that it's actually pervasive, then you start to see that this is a problem, and needs to be addressed. So we have people like Mary and her organization that are addressing it, that are going after it. And of course, you can help them in that. You can help support them. You can reach out to them. We'll have the links in our show notes and all of that stuff, that if you want to get involved or just simply learn more, you'll be able to. And they're really, really great people. And it's a privilege. It really is, to be able to have these conversations with them and help them bring to light what they're doing and share it with more people. So I hope you enjoy. See ya.
The culture is mass perpetrating against our girls.
The sexualization of young girls has gone mainstream. A padded bikini top for 7-year-olds.
You can't walk outside without seeing billboards and magazine covers. You can't turn on the television without seeing it.
Before you can even speak, females are offering themselves to you. Come get me, come get me. What they learn is they have two choices, either ability or invisibility.
We are definitely in a dangerous place. We are seeing the repercussions of it, which is acts of violence against girls, the eating disorders and the self-esteem.
When they think that the only value they have is in self-objectifying, that begins to take over as the primary view of themselves. We were very concerned with things like child beauty pageants, and we were unprepared for how much dance would come in as the more mainstream version of sexualization of girls.
The parents think that it's okay for 8-year-old girls to be taught to move like this. We're hypersexualizing girls at incredibly early ages.
The audience should think that you are nude. It was... I know. That's why you can get away with it.
We shouldn't be surprised that girls want to dance in this way. Of course they want to dance in this way, because this is the way that's getting the most audience approval.
who now are pummeling kids 24/7 with these prompts to be sexual. Us as adults, we can't get enough of this sex stuff in this culture, and it just is falling out on our kids.
What is it doing to us as viewers in terms of how we see young people demonstrating sort of adult sexuality? If she doesn't know what she's doing, the studio owner knows what she's doing and is making money off that.
It's different if they're creating their own story versus somebody telling them, hey, you know what, I want you to do this movement to this word.
This is a venue for very, very hypersexualized presentations of very young girls' bodies.
This is a kind of sexual psychopath.
When you're asking kids to perform something that they don't really understand, it's not about them anymore.
When we reduce our cultural dance form to this, the trick here is to be able to allow our daughters to get rewarded for performances that aren't just sexualized. I would want my daughter to know exactly what she's doing.
We get those wheels turning where the kid says, I think I want to be more than just, this flashy, trashy dancer.
There's a whole range of activities, of ambitions, of games, of outfits that you can wear, and really expanding her view of her possibilities, of everything that's in the world. You're going to raise a very different kind of child.
Music helps them understand. When you combine music and movement, you're even going into a whole nother direction, because what they're doing is they're acting out the emotions. They're acting out all this energy that's going through them, and they're telling a story.
I would want my daughter to know that what she's doing is something incredibly empowering for her in terms of her relationship to her own body, and the relationship between her mind and her body, her capacity to move through space, to leap and to jump and to spin and there is no culture on earth that doesn't have dance as a primary form of cultural expression, community building, and education.
Well, hello guys, welcome. It is Elsa Kurt here from the Elsa Kurt Show on Right America Media, and we are at the NRB convention. Right now, I have with me Mary Bawden and Jamie Logan.
Yes.
Okay, I did it right. I almost lost it for a second. Jamie Logan, and you guys are from dance, and you are advocates for fighting against hypersexualization of children in dance, which I think, as a mom, who raised two daughters. They're grown daughters now, but they went through dance and all that stuff, and we were very watchful of that. Mm-hmm. And I have to tell you, I don't remember it being so bad. Now, my kids are 30 and 25, so we're going back quite some time now. I don't remember it being so bad. Is this something newer, or has this been going on under our noses for a long time?
Well, I think it's a both and. It has always been a problem to misuse children and adults. Mm-hmm. But I think with the internet media and porn industry making money off of youngsters and making them into mini adults through hypersexualization in dance and adult costumes, choreography, and music. And I want your viewers to know that I have a BA and MA in dance. I love dance. I am a dance educator. And so it's the best thing for a child in terms of brain development, academics, when it's healthy dance.
Right.
But when it's harmful dance, which is hypersexualized dance, then it has traumatic outcomes.
Absolutely, yes. And we see it all the time, and what's shocking to me is that it doesn't seem to be shocking to a large portion of our society, that they not only accept it but find it entertaining and amusing.
They think it's cute.
Yeah, they think it's cute, and I have to tell you, the word everybody knows, and I'm so embarrassed to even use it because I really don't like it, but twerking and things like that. I hate to even use the word. It's embarrassing. Mm-hmm. But all of these things are considered to be, like you said, fine and cute and okay. What's really happening here? What kind of damage is that really doing to the psyche of a child?
Well, I'll tell you, there's so much academic research that shows through evidence that this is harmful for kids, one resource would be the APA. Okay. They define the hypersexualization of any child in 4 ways. One, and we're talking girls when they released this research, but now it's boys and girls because boys have been misused and harmed as well. But a child's physical attractiveness is equated with being sexy. They're made into an object. Sexuality is inappropriately imposed on them. And so their whole value comes from externals. And when you're a little person and you grow up with that as a normal thing, you think that way, you begin to value yourself that way, you self-sexualize to get approval.
Sure, that makes perfect sense, and you see it all across social media now, these young girls in particular, and you are right, it is boys as well, but just to focus on the girls, because that's what we are, women, girls, once upon a time, that's what you see across social media, these young girls in these provocative poses and clothing and things, when I look back and think about when I was 12 and 13, and it just wasn't a thing. It just wasn't a thing. And now it's so pervasive. It's everywhere you look. So how can we, as parents of young daughters and sons going into dance, how do we recognize and see that this particular dance studio might be problematic for our child, and what do we do about it?
Well, there's a simplified definition to start with that people seem to appreciate, and that is, in healthy dance, children look like children. Now, I know that sounds like I love that. Obvious, but they look like children in age-appropriate costumes, choreography, and music, usually accompanied by a great sense of joy. And in harmful dance, which is hypersexualized dance, children look like adults in adult costumes, choreography, and music, usually accompanied by adult hairstyles and makeup. So that's a starting point, but we have a lot of materials that are free on our website to help caring adults protect their kids. One is an ebook, but it's only 15 pages. Nice. What's the new trend in children's dance? How to choose a healthy dance studio. How to avoid a harmful dance studio. But we have a lot of other resources. I'm thinking specifically of videos that lay the issue out. And one of our most exciting resources is something we released this March of 2023. And we had 3 courageous women that stepped forward to share their dance story of when they were hypersexualized as young people. And one of those is to my right. It's Jamie Logan. And she was on that trailer. And so maybe she'd like to tell us a little bit about her experience in harmful dance.
Yeah, so I was groomed through the culture. I think a great deal of what we fail to recognize growing up in America is the influence of icons. And so I grew up with Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and big names where it was popular and good to look young and sexy. And so I saw that and I was exposed to that at 11, 12, 13. By the time I get into dance class and by the time I'm integrating myself into dance and into movement, then in the dance class, when we start doing things like burlesque at an age that's not appropriate, or we're doing movements that's far more adult, and I think the best way to consider it is it's almost as if the dance room becomes training ground for a strip club, and that's what it feels like. But you're keeping everything on. And so we don't realize it in the moment, but that trains us in many different ways. For myself, it normalized particular behaviors that led to toxicity in relationships, partnered with, exposure to things like pornography and hypersexualized media. It becomes normal to base your value on how you're received sexually and if you're appealing, and that actually causes a lot of insecurities, especially when we're comparing ourselves to other people. That gets brought into relationships. That relationship dynamic is very, it's not only toxic, but it's damaging because it can actually hinder relationships that could otherwise be healthy. And for me, it caused a lot of anxiety, disordered eating. That plays a very big role because I understand. I also have done interviews with many young dancers. And something that I saw across the board was that if you don't fit into the costumes, you don't get the role. And so a great deal of that is you're being hypersexualized, but you're also trying to fit the mold of what most young adolescent girls who are growing up just can't fit. And so that influenced my bodily autonomy, my body image. And of course now, I'm 35 and I'm proud to say that I'm growing and healing, but that still affects you,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to see and understand how, in retrospect, and I'm sure there's so many parents, and I actually know parents, moms whose kids are involved in dance and are wearing those costumes and all the makeup and looking like miniature women, not children.
Yeah, mini adults.
And they think it's cute. They think there's no harm. It's fine. And here's proof of somebody who experiences and lived through this and is saying it is harmful. It is detrimental. And I would imagine that that's part of the struggle here too, to get dance educators and parents to understand the seriousness of it.
Well, it's interesting. Once we are exposed to people, we get a lot of adults who really come on what I call the dance team, and dance educators as well. There's many like me. It's just that many are isolated and many don't know what to do. So that's what our website does. We provide all the free resources to empower people to protect children. And you can hear from Jamie some of the negative outcomes from hypersexualized dance, but there are many more. And the challenge is these outcomes that are abusive and harmful occur with children in hypersexualized dance, but they also occur with children who watch hypersexualized dance, because we live in a pornified culture. That's what researcher Gail Dines calls it. Researcher Philip Adams calls it corporate pedophilia. So it's something we really need to stand up for in terms of protecting our kids, and that's why we exist.
I love it. I love what you're doing. And Jamie, I want to take a moment to thank you for sharing your story, because I think the real stories that you're sharing really are the things that will truly help make a difference, because now you're bringing something relatable and truly understandable, and maybe someone a teenager or a young adult is watching you share your story and the other woman who share their story, and they're having that moment of understanding and realization. So it's incredibly powerful what you're doing. So truly thank you, and of course thank you. And what I should have said in the beginning, or asked you in the beginning, is to tell us exactly. So the foundation, the organization is called DANCE, but it's DA:NCE. Could you please tell everybody what exactly that means?
Well, Dance Awareness, No Child Exploited, better known as DANCE. And we get very excited about that because people really like the name.
I love the name.
And they remember the name. And we hope you remember the name.
Absolutely.
And you avail yourself of our free resources. I will tell you, although we educate about harmful dance, we also lift up healthy dance. And right now, folks, we have an initiative called She Loves to Move, where you can download a beautiful song created just for us, choreograph it, upload it to our website, and we'll be adjudicating, that means judging, all those entries with a $5,000 prize.
Whoa. Guys.
Did you hear that, folks?
Did you hear that?
$5,000.
Let's make sure they know the website. What's the website again?
danceawareness.com. And you'll hear from Jamie if you listen to the trailer and you share your dance story. So we just have so many things to help you, so that when someone says you're just old-fashioned, you can come right back with the research, or just share one of our trailers, because we kind of lay out the issues in those trailers.
That's a wonderful point, too, because I'm sure that is a reaction that people will have. Say, oh, stop, you're overreacting. It's just kids dancing. It's just kids pretending. And, and so you don't just, talk the talk. You actually walk the walk, and you have the research and the data and the proof of the effects of this hypersexualization of children. has on not just them, but on society as a whole, and on men too, really.
Oh, absolutely. So even if we're talking about women being hypersexualized, and it is a higher percentage of women, but at the same time, boys are groomed to be hyper masculinated and to see women as objects. So they're groomed in a different way, but they're groomed as well to have an abusive future with relational partners. So it's a terrible issue, friends. And I hope all of you will take the time to go to danceawareness.com and to be empowered with these materials that are free.
Absolutely. Listen, I know my demographic. I know there's a lot of moms on here that are watching, and a lot of them have their kids enrolled in dance and all of those wonderful things. So why not give them the resource and tools to do this in a healthy, wonderful, joyful way that will impact their lives positively. So go check out the website. Mary and Jamie, I thank you both so much for coming on. This was so wonderful to learn about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next episode.
Looking for your next book to read or gift to give? Why not check out one of my books? They're available on elsakurt.com and, of course, Amazon.com.